Good morning, friends. Welcome back. Today we are going to read another very interesting topic. Hope all of you are doing fine. Myself, Dr. Gibran Ahmed, brings to you Simply Pathology. And today we are going to read about a very interesting topic, that is tissue repair. And this is part 1 of the series. So let us have a brief overview of tissue repair. What tissue repair is? So before going into the details of tissue repair, there are two terms. One is repair and another one is healing. So we are using the term repair when it is for a parenchymal and connective tissue. And we are using the term healing when it is for a surface epithelia. For example, our skin, lining of the oral cavity, lining of our GI tract and genitourinary tract. Okay, so repair or healing is basically referring to restoration of tissue architecture and function after injury. And how is this process of repair or healing taking place? So there are two mechanisms. One is regeneration and another one is scar formation. Now, regeneration is taking place by replacement of damaged tissue by normal tissue. Okay, and here the function has been restored to normal, whereas scar formation is occurring by replacement of a damaged tissue by connective tissue deposition. Over here also the function is restored, but the tissue cannot be called as normal. Now, this is a basic situation where we are having a normal tissue. Now, once it undergoes mild superficial injury, the repair process starts by regeneration, and here the cell will or the tissue will return back to its normal state. Okay, will be restored to normal, and the function will also be restored to normal. Whereas in case of severe injury, when the defect is large, there will be repair by the process of a scar formation, wherein we are having connective tissue deposition. And though the tissue function has been restored, we cannot say that the tissue is normal. Okay, we cannot say it is normal. Okay, now what is the basic mechanism for regeneration and scar formation? Now, regeneration is having two basic mechanisms. The first is by proliferation of differentiated cell. So what do we mean by this? Proliferation of differentiated cells mean, for example, by mitosis or by cell division. Example, the liver hepatocytes. Okay, so the liver hepatocytes will undergo proliferation, okay, by cell division or mitosis of the hepatocytes itself. Whereas the second mechanism is the differentiation of the tissue stem cells, wherein the tissue stem cells themselves are maturing or differentiating into a hepatocyte. Okay, so the basic example is, for example, the epithelia of the skin and the intestine. Now, mammals, they are having a limited capacity to regenerate. Okay. Now, the second mechanism of tissue repair is by connective tissue deposition or scar formation. Now, this occurs in case of severe injury where the supporting structures are severely damaged. Okay, or the tissue itself is incapable of regeneration. Now, basic mechanism of scar formation is by deposition of connective tissue or collagen or the fibrous tissue. Now, you have to understand one thing, that whenever scar formation is occurring in the parenchymal organs like the lungs, liver and the kidney, we call it as fibrosis. And whenever the process occurs in tissue spaces like the pleural cavity, pericardial cavity or the peritoneal cavity, we call it as organization. Now, we will read about the cell and tissue regeneration in details. Now, ability of the tissues to repair themselves is determined in part by their intrinsic proliferative capacity as well as the presence of the tissue stem cells. Now, depending on the capability or the capacity of regeneration, tissues can be divided into three main types. One is the labile tissue, second is the stable tissue, third is the permanent tissue. Now, First, we will read about the labile tissue. Now, labile tissues are those tissues which are having a very high capacity of regeneration. They are composed of continuously dividing cells. Now, these cells are continuously lost and replaced by maturation of tissue stem cells and proliferation of mature cells. Now, what are the examples of labile tissues? Again, this is a very, very important MCQ. Now, number one, we are having the hematopoietic cells in the bone marrow. Now, these hematopoietic cells are going to give rise to the blood cells in our body, and the blood cells in our body have a limited lifespan. They need constant replenishment. Okay, for example, RBCs, WBCs, they are constantly regenerated in our body. Second example is the surface epithelia lining the skin, oral cavity, vagina, and the cervix. Now, these are also constantly shedded, and these need constant replacement by regeneration. Again, the lining of the ducts of the exocrine glands is by cuboidal epithelium, for example in our salivary glands and pancreatic glands. Now, they also need constant replenishment by regeneration. Again, we are having columnar epithelium lining the gastrointestinal tract, uterus, and the fallopian tubes. And lastly, we are having the transitional epithelium lining the urinary tract. Okay. Now, the second important tissue after the labile tissue is the stable tissue. Now, stable tissues are those tissues which do not divide normally. They are in a quiescent or G0 state. They are having a minimal proliferative capacity and they divide only in response to injury. They have a limited capacity to regenerate except the liver. Okay, now what are the examples of the stable tissue? Parenchyma of most solid tissues like the liver, kidney, and the pancreas. The third important example is the permanent tissue. Now, they do not have any capacity for regeneration. They are terminally differentiated cell. They are non-proliferative, and the most important examples are the brain, heart, and skeletal muscle. Now, all these three organs, if they are damaged, okay, they do not regenerate. Now, here there is an interesting fact. The skeletal muscles contain satellite cells which has some amount of regeneration capacity. Now, you have to understand that the permanent tissues cannot have regeneration. So, the healing process in permanent tissues takes place by scar formation. So just to revise, okay, the labile tissues, they can show complete regeneration, stable tissues show some regeneration, and permanent tissues shows no regeneration. So here the healing process will only occur by means of scar formation. Okay, moving ahead, now we are having signaling for the cell proliferation. So cell proliferation is not occurring by itself. There is certain amount of signaling that is required. And who is giving this signaling? Let us find out. So at the site of injury or damage, the nearby cells, mainly the macrophages, are releasing the growth factors, which is going to bind to the extracellular matrix protein that is going to stimulate the signaling pathways and ultimately lead to DNA replication and cell proliferation. Also, some of these cells can make use of adhesion molecules, example the integrins, to bind to the extracellular matrix protein that will ultimately stimulate the signaling pathway, and that is going to stimulate cell proliferation. Now, let us look at the mechanism of tissue regeneration, which is best exemplified by taking the model of liver regeneration. So first we are going to see certain points about the liver regeneration. Now, human liver is having a remarkable capacity to regenerate as seen after partial hepatectomy. Now, what are the conditions that we are carrying out partial hepatectomy? In case of tumors or in case we have to make a transplant. So in those conditions we do a partial hepatectomy. Now, there are two basic mechanisms of regeneration as we have already seen. Number one is by proliferation of hepatocytes, and this proliferation will occur how? One hepatocyte is going to undergo mitosis and give rise to two hepatocytes. So this is called as mitosis. So by the basic process of mitosis they can proliferate. The second process is liver regeneration by differentiation of the stem cells. Okay, so the tissue stem cells is going to mature or they are going to differentiate to give rise to an hepatocyte. Okay, so these are the two basic mechanisms. Now, one very important point is that Restoration of the normal tissue structure can only occur if the residual tissue is structurally intact. Example, after surgical resection. Okay, so if, for example, if I am doing a hepatectomy and if I remove 60% of the hepatocytes, okay, or the liver tissue, so just the remaining 40% tissue is left. Now for regeneration to occur nicely or in a normal way, the remaining 40% tissue has to be normal. So if the tissue is damaged by infection or inflammation, the regeneration is incomplete and associated with scarring. Now let us look at certain full forms. Now EGF is standing for epidermal growth factor, EGFR stands for epidermal growth factor receptor, HGF is standing for hepatocyte growth factor, TGF alpha stands for transforming growth factor, and TNF stands for tumor necrosis factor. Now let us go ahead and see the first mechanism of liver regeneration, that is proliferation of hepatocytes. Now always remember that liver is composed of hepatic sinusoids, which is nothing but a potential space between the hepatocytes which is filled with venous blood. Okay, now in the sinusoid, okay, there is a lining by the tissue macrophages called as the Kupffer cell. Now Kupffer cell is the macrophages present inside the liver. Now whenever there is some kind of tissue injury, there is release of multiple cytokines including TNF, which is going to act on the Kupffer cells, and this Kupffer cell will then release a cytokine called as interleukin number 6 into a space of Disc, which is a basic space, okay, between the Kupffer cell and the hepatocyte. Now once this interleukin 6 is going to be released, it will act on the hepatocyte, which will now enter into a priming phase. Now what is a priming phase? Now interleukin number 6 acts on the hepatocyte to make them competent enough to respond to certain growth factors. That is, the hepatocytes now expresses certain growth factor receptors like EGFR and MET. Now multiple cells are going to release the growth factors, for example epidermal growth factors and TGF alpha, which is going to act on the EGFR receptor, and hepatocyte growth factor, that is HGF, which is going to act on the MET receptor. Now once these growth factors are acting on these receptors, the hepatocytes will now enter into a growth factor phase, wherein, as we have read, the hepatocytes normally they are quiescent, they are present in the G0 phase because they are the stable tissue, but because of action of growth factors, they are now going to enter the cell cycle and enter the G1 and the S phase. Now this entire process of entering into the cell cycle may take several hours, and ultimately what will happen? The hepatocyte proliferation is going to begin. Now one important thing is that not only will the hepatocyte show proliferation, there will also be proliferation of non-parenchymal tissue, for example the Kupffer cell, endothelial cell, as well as stellate cell proliferation. Now once the entire process of proliferation has been completed, now this has to be controlled. So there is a release of TGF beta, which will now lead to the termination phase, wherein the hepatocytes will again become stable or quiescent and go into the G0 phase. So this is all about the proliferation of the hepatocyte. Okay, one important MCQ is that liver shows a remarkable capacity of regeneration. Up to 90% can regenerate alone just by proliferation of hepatocytes. A very important MCQ. Now coming to the second important mechanism of liver regeneration is from the stem cells or progenitor cells, that is the maturation or differentiation of the stem cells into a mature hepatocyte. Now this second mechanism is basically involved after chronic liver injury or inflammation, when the proliferative capacity of the liver has been impaired. Now differentiation of the tissue stem cells or the progenitor cells occurs, okay, they will differentiate to form mature hepatocyte. Also we have to remember that the tissue stem cells or the progenitor cells of the liver is present in the canal of Hering. Thank you very much guys for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for sharing. Please do comment in case you have any kind of doubts, and thanks, and stay tuned for more such videos. Thank you very much.